The Pet's Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
And it's a very good Tuesday morning to you. The weather just slightly changed, but that's not going to stop you getting your doggies out for nice walks and then making sure you rehydrate them again. Any issues, by the way, over the last week or so?
Yeah, hi John. There have been a few cases of mild heat stroke.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a full-blown worrying, critical case of heat stroke, but we've seen a few mild cases. So a dog with mild heat stroke, what they look like is they can be a bit shivery and uncomfortable and agitated, not sleeping at night. They'll be panting, they'll maybe have a raised respiratory rate, a little bit breathless, generally uncomfortable. Commonly they're off their food when they're overheated because they feel miserable. Okay, right. And they often don't drink enough. So you have to get them cool to encourage them to drink.
That's a bit like normal heat stroke though with adults. If you've got heat stroke, you go off your food, you go hydrated, and you don't want to take hydration.
Yeah, it's like it looks very like you can imagine somebody with mild heat stroke, that type of nausea. Now those really dramatic, critical cases of heat stroke in dogs can look very frightening. They collapse. They're open mouth breathing. The panting is really dramatic, really rapid. They can go downhill and they can die very quickly from extreme heat stroke. Right. Their body temperatures go up too rapid very, very quickly. The mild heat stroke can go on for 2 or 3 days. They're off their food. They'll have a little bit of diarrhea.
What do you do? Would you put them on a drip or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first thing we think of, is put them on a drip. We often do a blood test just to make sure their kidney function is okay. And then we put them on a drip and cool them down with cold water.
And 90% of the time the kidney functions are okay?
Yeah,
more, 95?
90, generally it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not critical until you get that mouth breathing, awful panting, and their colour changes. So lots of mild heat stroke, and it looks like a tummy bug, it looks like a virus, it looks like something very vague. People have no idea what's wrong, and the dog's just mildly overheated. Yeah. There you go. The solution is cold showers. And now there's a lot of old baloney out there about putting towels on them and you know, this sort of stuff. If you're worried about your dog overheating, you don't faff about. Get the cold hose, get a hose pipe on them. Yeah. Cool them down dramatically with cold water, and they'll need a shower for a few minutes. Yeah. A sustained shower of a few minutes to get their temperature down. Right, okay. So have a sprinkler on in the garden and use it on a daily basis, and give the dog a good old cold shower on a regular basis. If this good weather continues, for how long it continues,
it's broken for a day or two, but looking ahead to the future down the road, I think come Sunday and Saturday
there'll be rain.
It's say Sunday, bright day with sunny spells, scattered showers, and Saturday mostly cloudy with rain in most areas. The rain will gradually clear, and for next week it'll continue to be cool, mixed rain and showers. So it's broken a bit now.
Yeah, the temperature thing is interesting because 18 degrees, certainly 20 degrees, can feel very hot to us. Yeah. If you were on the continent in a dry climate, a nice breeze coming in from the sea, 20 degrees wouldn't feel warm. No. And even the dogs would be fine. But when we get 20 degrees here, because we're not used to it, and neither are our pets, and it can feel warmer than it is, and you'd be surprised even the dogs are not able for it.
But you know, it's all about environment too, Des. I mean, look, when it comes to Irish hot weather, I don't like, but I could go off to Greece or Spain or Portugal or whatever these places, and I'll be wandering around, and I know it's roasting hot, but I don't care, because I know I can have a pit stop there and have a nice mineral.
You're
or
happy
whatever,
as Larry. You know? It's harder when you have to get back into the car or drive to work, isn't it?
Yeah. That's where you know you can just go and get a bit of aircon or whatever else. Okay, some stuff to talk about first of all. Actually, you know what we'll do is I want to talk to you about, you have a dog, a whippet or something that you're looking to find a new home for.
A dog called Alfie, and I won't say too much about what type of a dog he is, just to maintain the privacy for the family involved, but Alfie was initially fostered from a dog shelter place, and he's in a family with children, and he's bitten a little boy a couple of times out of fear. Yeah. So this is a dog who would be perfectly nice in a different house. Yeah. And I'd love to help this family rehome him into an adults only home. Yeah. We have lots and lots of dogs coming in and out to us regularly into Gym Dog for doggy daycare and for training and socialisation, and lots of dogs that are in adults only households who aren't used to children and aren't used to crowded environments and so on, and do really well.
So they're basically, were they rescued first of all?
This poor dog was rescued first of all, and he was rehomed into a family a busy house with a few youngsters, and he needs to be in an adult-only family.
Yeah.
So somebody out there would like to give an active young sighthound
young dog.
A home.
Yeah.
Active young sighthound.
Yeah. Okay.
A home.
Yeah.
Give us a buzz at Kildare Vet Surgery.
Okay. Find a nice home for a good dog. Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. And if you can do that, that would be absolutely terrific. If you're thinking of going along that route, just contact Des.
Yeah, it goes to show, we talked about this last week, it's all about finding the environment to suit the dog and finding a breed and a type of dog to suit your family. In a given situation, any dog can be unsuitable.
Yeah.
And can be rejected.
But that leads nicely into our list, because one of the many things that we're talking about is fostering, you know.
Yeah.
And I think fostering, it's just becoming so prevalent over the last number of years as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, fostering is good because it allows dog charities and dog shelters to keep larger numbers of dogs on their books without having to have the kennels and the housing for huge numbers of dogs themselves. So if they have a satellite group of willing volunteers, of willing foster families, then they can foster out greater numbers of dogs, and dogs are in a queue until a suitable family comes along to give that dog a permanent forever home. So number 20 on my list of 20 ways to save money on pet care is, if you want to get into dog ownership, form a relationship with one of the local dog charities and become a dog foster person.
Yeah.
And take dogs into your home.
Do people... Okay, here's a question for you. When people arrive at these foster homes or these homes, then fair dues to the owners of these pounds, these foster rescue centres, and they foster them. Yeah. They're the ones who are putting all the expense in and covering the expense. Do people come and go a few times to decide, oh, I'm definitely like good old Alfie there, or good old Rex, or good old whatever there? Or is it a case they come along, scoop a dog up, and away they go? What way does it work?
The best way, the most ideal way, is come and go from a place a few times. If you're thinking of adopting a dog, or you're potentially looking for a family pet, I would form a relationship with the volunteers in the dog shelters and pop in and out regularly and chat to them and put a good bit of time, and 2 to 3 meetings should be involved.
With the dog itself as well as with people,
Yeah, and with the dogs they have there, and think about the dog that would suit you best.
Yeah.
And get advice about what will suit your lifestyle and the size of a house you have, your environment, and the number of people in the family, and so on.
With the foster homes themselves, what is the retention? How long would an average dog be there? In real terms?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months.
Right, okay.
Yeah, a few months.
Okay, but eventually they move them on.
Eventually they move them on. You may end up becoming the permanent owner of the dog yourself, but ideally I think fostering suits people who are not settled.
Yeah.
Who aren't... See, if you're not settled, you know you're going to maybe change jobs, or you're thinking of going travelling. A younger couple who, maybe haven't bought a house yet, or are not fully settled and are considering maybe working abroad. Not being the permanent owner of a dog gives them an option of being able to move the dog on and move themselves on. Yeah. And we know that the rental market in Ireland is problematic, you see. And one of the worst things I hate to see is young people coming into us and, we've rented a house and then we got a dog. It often happens, and they end up having to rehome the dog out, give the dog away, or spend big money on boarding kennels for a while until someone else takes the dog.
Okay. So, I mean, the other thing is staff at the volunteers, which are predominantly mostly volunteers at the shelters. I mean, they're fantastic to be able to take on this and put the time and effort in. Sure, they must fall in love with the dogs as well.
They do. They do. I'm sure they fall in love with them and get to know them all very well, very intimately, and sometimes these dogs can be there, a few months, so they get to know them very well. And they get to know what type of family would suit a particular dog and where this dog should go, Yeah. Lots of greyhounds and lurchers and whippets and those kind of things in these shelters, and they make great pets.
Do more of them or do you find there's more of the likes of the whippets and the greyhounds and that type of breed are getting fostered now?
Yeah.
People are willing to take a chance. Maybe people in country homes and stuff like that, is it?
Yeah, seeing a lot of greyhounds and whippets coming into us, and they're on their second homes. And that's a good thing to see. It's great to see. They can be a little bit sharp, a little bit wary, and particularly if they've had a bad start in life, they could be a bit snappy. That's why I say oftentimes an adult-only house is the best thing for them, and an active person.
Yeah, but if the likes of greyhounds or whippets or whatever type are going to the foster homes for the foster kennels for the first, the kennels themselves for the first time, do the people who are fostering them, do they try to kind of take them out of themselves? Do they try to get them back, or are they just literally in the cages and you just have to go off? And what way do they do it?
Yeah, well, you see, do you know what? We might maybe have a little call someday with one of the KSPCA people.
Yeah.
And we'll get the insights from them on what's what. But you see, they've only a dozen or so places to keep dogs.
Right, okay.
A dozen or so units or kennels.
Okay.
So in terms of when they foster out a dog or when they're looking for a volunteer to take one home, it depends on how full they are.
Right.
And the last dog in might be the first one to be fostered out.
Okay, that makes sense as well.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
It's just a matter of people picking a breed or picking a type of... And one part on this one as well. Do most people go in and just take a dog, or would they look for two dogs?
That very much depends on circumstances.
Yeah. I
often hear people saying, oh yeah, we're thinking of getting two so that they have company.
Yeah.
But you have to examine why you want to have two dogs to keep each other company.
Okay.
And if that's what your thinking is, then maybe you shouldn't get a dog yet.
Yeah.
Because dogs need the company and the companionship primarily of their owner. And most dogs are happy just with their owner. Most dogs don't particularly need company. What they need is to be kept stimulated and socialised and involved and integrated into the family unit. So the family they need, they're very people focused. Most dogs are very people focused.
Yeah.
And most dogs are happy as the sole pet of a family.
Okay, very good. Right, let's move on to your 3 R's.
Oh, the 3 R's. Yeah, that's a good one. So on my 20 ways to save money as pet care, I have one tip there, which is to remember the 3 R's.
Okay.
And the 3 R's will save you money, you see, because you'll have a healthier, better socialised, more active, fitter dog, which will live longer and will be better behaved. And I guarantee you'll have less vet visits if you know what the 3 R's are and if you put them in place.
Yeah.
And the 3 R's are a kind of a lifestyle formula for dog ownership. And the 3 R's are, first of all, routine.
Yeah.
So routine means that dogs in particular are creatures of habit. Dogs need to do the same things at the same time every day. And if dogs have a very good, consistent routine, then they become very well behaved. And they become very happy and very settled. Right? So routine is vitally important. They are creatures of habit. Secondly, rituals are very important. So rituals strengthen your bond. The companion animal owner bond is strengthened by rituals. Rituals means when you're training your dog from a puppy, have the same little behaviours and tricks that you put in place with your dog on a day-by-day basis.
Yeah.
And they are as simple as sit, stay, here's your treat. Come for your ball, here's your treat. Pick up your lead for me, here's your treat.
Yeah.
These sort of rituals are really important. They strengthen your bond with your dog and reinforce good behaviours.
Yeah.
So good behaviours need to be constantly reinforced the whole time. I heard a story one time about dogs in a prison in Ireland, and they were changing handlers, you see, frequently.
Okay.
And the prison dogs were Belgian Malinois, they're pretty hardcore type of a working dog, and they were there for security, they were there for safety. And there had been some disruption in the prison rota, and the dog handlers and the prison wardens were chopping and changing. And over a period of a month or two, while there was disruption in the prison, these dogs were being handled regularly by a series of different people.
Yeah.
And some of the training rituals stopped. And the dog handling rituals fell through the cracks and weren't done. And one particular day, there was a row and a bit of a riot in the snooker room in the prison, right? And the lads were throwing snooker balls at each other and whacking each other with snooker cues, and the prison officers got the dogs to break up the fight, right? And the dogs were so out of the habit of listening to their commands, and they were so out of the habit of doing their rituals, that the dogs did not bother breaking up the fight.
Right, okay.
They just stood there barking, looking at it.
Yeah, okay.
So that was a case where rituals were not carried out and rituals and routines were not carried out regularly enough with these dogs.
Okay.
So they're the first 2 R's, right?
Okay.
And the 3rd R is really simple. The 3rd R is just running.
Yeah.
So running. Cesar Millan said that 15 minutes of exercise will cure 90% of bad behaviours. So dogs need runs.
Yeah.
Dogs need a run every day. They don't just need a walk, they need a run. They need cardiovascular exercise, the same as us. And the mentality and the mindset of a dog and keeping a dog happy is fairly simple. It's about understanding what a dog needs. And the single biggest thing dogs need is exercise.
Yeah, and actually,
they need running exercise.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because the number above that one there, number 14, is about fitness and weight as well.
Yeah, and the fitness and weight thing is to do with the physical side of avoiding obesity. But on the mental side of improving their behaviour, running is vitally important.
Yeah.
For them to literally calm down their blood pressure, calm down their heart rate, calm down their adrenaline, burn off calories, and be literally physically able to listen to you.
Yeah. Because
they're a bit tired.
Okay. Des, just a quick question regarding Whippets. We adopted a Whippet 3 years ago. Fantastic member of the family now. The one thing that we do find is that he wants to walk more than a Whippet is meant to walk. Is this normal?
I think probably a younger, obviously, little younger, more active type of little dog, and wants a bit more exercise.
Yes.
And wants a bit more stimulation.
Yeah.
You heard us here saying, probably several times, that some of these dogs only need 40 minutes once a day.
Yeah.
And all the rest of it. But no, the younger, smaller ones probably have a higher heart rate and a higher metabolic rate and a higher metabolism.
Yeah.
And they can be a bit more active. So if you had a 4 or 5 year old 30 kilogram greyhound, that dog would be kind of calmer, chilled, and would lie around probably most of the day.
Yeah.
But I'd say maybe one of those younger Italian greyhounds or smaller whippets might need the 40-minute run maybe twice a day.
Yeah, but is that just habit? Because if the dog becomes part of a family and you say, I'm bringing the dog out for a walk, or is it a case that the dog says, I'm not going for a walk?
Yeah, you see, some of it's mental, as you say, habit. That they want to get out and about and they want the stimulation.
Yeah.
And they want to be kept busy. So think about the routine. Is the dog getting enough stimulation? Is he bored?
Yeah.
Is he looking to get out and about and do something because he's bored?
But were greyhounds initially, before they became associated with racing, weren't they a kind of a hunting dog or a tracking dog or a...
Yeah, they were a hunting dog and a tracking dog. They'd be brought out by people shooting and they'd be kept on leads and then they'd be sent to chase game. Yeah. Sent to chase game. So they have that sort of thing whereby...
Instinct.
They do have that instinct whereby they'd have the patience to sit for long periods of time and then a burst of acceleration and chase something. That'd be the type of dog they'd be.
Okay.
Now, what was I going to say as regards to Whippets? Yeah, stimulation. Maybe 40 minutes twice a day, that sort of thing. That could be what the dog needs, yeah.
Okay, well done. Okay, here's another one for you. This came in last week, and it was to do with the traditional old-fashioned boxer dog, tan in colour. So I got this message that came in, and it was basically, this particular lady was over in Liverpool, of all places, and she saw two fabulous boxer dogs, lean, very friendly dogs, but she said we never see them anymore in Ireland.
That particular colour.
Yeah, you know the breed. It just I'm not talking about the pugs. I'm talking about something that maybe just something along the size of a Labrador.
I mean, the commonest boxer that I see is the kind of sort of a liver coloured brown.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
They would be the commonest ones. Yeah. The whole thing about them is the better bred boxers nowadays have a slightly longer face, and they wouldn't be as flat or as in
but I remember growing up in the 80s and 90s and looking at these dogs. They were always a fabulous animal and so friendly.
Yeah, there still are. There are loads of really good, fabulous, well-bred boxers out there. There was a phase or a period there, again around the lockdown COVID, maybe there were too many of them being bred, and we did see a spate of them coming into us with very flattened faces and bad breathing. The newer ones I see now coming in, they have a better shaped face and a better mouth, and they have better breathing.
Okay.
There's loads of them out there, loads of those nice tan boxers. Okay. They're really popular and they're a very good breed.
Okay, question in, it's from Jeremy. He wants to know, does the cat waterfalls work for the animals?
Yeah, the cat fountains.
They're cat fountains waterfalls. I've seen them before,
Cat fountains are very good for cats that are primarily indoor cats because the fountain gives them the fresh drinking water that they want. Cats prefer to drink from water that's flowing. And they also use the fountains for play and for bathing their paws and washing their faces and that kind of stuff. So the fountains serve a nice function as a play device for the cats indoors.
Okay. Okay. I had a beautiful It looks like Anita, I-N-I-T-A. Don't know what that is.
An Akita.
An Akita. He passed away in his sleep 13 years and 9 months ago. Never sick, only in the vets for his jabs and missed terribly, says Joy. Good dog.
Yeah, good dog. An Akita is a Japanese Akita, and they're a big dog. They're a large version of a husky. Big, strong, large version of a husky. Now, unlike a husky, they weren't a sled dog. They're evolved as a working hunting dog.
Right.
So they'd have a good, strong guarding instinct in them, temperamentally similar to Rottweiler or German Shepherd.
Okay, yeah.
Very, very good dog. Now, not to be sexist or anything, but they're a breed that suit a male owner.
Right, okay.
And an active person, because they're quite stubborn, they're confident, they're very determined in their own viewpoint on things, and you actually have to be quite firm with them and quite dominant with them in the early phase of their training in order for them to understand kind of who's boss, in order for them to kind of obey commands. So that sort of traditional assertive leadership type of a relationship is very suitable for the Akita type of dog. As I say, they're a dominant, territorial, working breed. They can be a very nice dog, but by the same token, they can be dangerous in the wrong hands.
Okay, and Joy just messaged back in because she's the one with the Akita. She says, so true, guys, so true.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Okay, very good. Right, we have 3 dogs, older guy and 2-year-olds, and 2 2-year-olds. My 2-year-old Yorkie is very possessive over toys. Any advice on how to get her to share?
That's a difficult one.
That's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Training.
I would say you do need a house visit from a trainer.
Yeah.
You need a house visit there from a dog trainer. That might be harmless enough, as I say, in an adult-only environment. But if you have children in the house, you can't really have that. That sort of territorial or possessive behaviour around toys will lead to a little person getting bitten.
Okay.
So you do need a dog trainer to give you a good consultation and a good workup on what to do about that.
Yeah, very good one as well. And there was just another one just came in there, and I know it's on your list. We won't get to do it today on the list, but just briefly talk about tick collars or collars, like flea collars.
Yeah, flea collars and tick collars are not necessary anymore. You don't need them. They wouldn't be that safe. I'd say with tick collars and flea collars, I've often seen them cause rashes or dermatitis around a dog's neck from being left on too long.
Yeah.
So there's no need for them anymore. You can use the monthly tablets and the monthly spot-ons. Or you can visit the vets intermittently and have the dogs tested and checked out and use a spot-on or a tablet as required.
Okay, brilliant stuff.
But there's no need for the collars, no.
Okay, that's a great way to conclude for today. And as always, we'll be putting this up on podcast a little bit later on this afternoon. And if you want to reach out to Des and the team, Des, just give the details again in reference even to just a reminder about the dog as well.
petslife.ie, or give us a call at Kildare Vet Surgery. Anyone interested in giving a home to a nice dog, which would be a nice active dog
for adults,
and needs an adult-only household.
An adult-only household. So maybe if you're in the market for something like that and you're looking around, give Des an old shout. Right, we're back again next Tuesday, more of the same, and then the following week it'll be a Wednesday, I'm sure it is, because of the bank holiday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet, managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.